you. Thank you. Well, it's going to be a difficult start after the rock stars before, but we'll do our best. I feel, well, in Madrid, I feel like, playing after Real Madrid, winning the Champions, we're we're in a different league here, but we will do our best, right, Antonio?
Exactly.
Yes. So welcome to Madrid. Welcome, Antonio. Thank you for this opportunity. Let me introduce all of you to Antonio Coutinho. He's the CEO of EDP Innovation, plus 20 years of experience at EDP in different management positions. He's an engineer, by training, and he actually did spend some years doing engineer work.
A real engineer.
Real engineer work in the field. That's always appreciated. And then moved to the dark side as a consultant to BCG. Okay, and I hope no
consultants.
No consultants in the audience. No hard feelings here. But then you move back to the bright side and working for EDP. So fantastic. Thank you for being here.
Pleasure.
Antonio. A real pleasure. Myself, coming from MIT Entrepreneurship Forum, we've been collaborating with IE for some time and with South Summit, but it is a pleasure to be having this conversation. So EDP is present, it's an amazing company. It's present in more than 30 countries.
It is.
Okay, so just so you know, coming from Portugal, but very strong presence in not only Europe, but USA, South America, and APAC, and Asia Pacific. You are the 4th largest wind operator in the world. Wow, that's amazing. 4th largest operator in wind energy in the world. Amazing metrics, which I'm not going to go into the install base, etc. But really impressive profile of the company. So this panel is about energy transition and how important this is for EDP. So tell me, Antonio, what is energy transition for you? What does it mean for innovation?
So energy transition, I think we are always talking about climate change, energy transition, and so on. And I think a lot of times we don't really appreciate and have a clear understanding about what is exactly the energy transition. And what I usually say is that in 30 years, we are committed to review completely the energy infrastructure that took us 220 years to do. By the way, with 2 more billion people in the world. So it's not an energy transition, it's an energy revolution.
Energy revolution.
Because it's just 30 years. So this is the energy transition. And I think it's important to understand that there are good news on this. So last year, the world has invested 1.8 trillion in clean tech. 1.8 trillion is between the GDP of Spain and Italy.
Wow.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Now, here's the thing. For us to be carbon neutral by 2050, we need to invest 4.5 trillion a year, every year until 2050.
Wow.
So any of you guys that are not working in clean tech,
okay.
I'm sorry to tell you, but you are on the wrong industry.
Okay.
I mean, the opportunity is here on clean tech, on the energy transition, on the energy revolution, if you want to be part of this. Now, there are a lot of challenges, and these challenges are the playground for innovators like you guys. So the first one has to do with supply chain. Just imagine what is this level of growth and to try to supply the growth. It's kind of always being behind the race. Mm-hmm. And this is creating tensions, geopolitical tensions between China and North America and also Europe, because China is leading this supply chain. So this creates some issues. There are other issues like labor. Do we have the people to do this change?
Okay.
Very interesting innovation playground to find solutions for this.
Absolutely.
Then there is these problems of regulations, permitting, and so on, that we need to solve in order for the energy transition to happen.
Absolutely.
So these are the type of changes, these are the type of problems that we have to embrace. And for this, creativity from all of you are very important to address and to solve the problem of the energy transition.
Okay, I like that. You know, if you are not working in energy transition, we're in the wrong industry. So, you know, do you accept any CVs from the audience? You know, please send them to Antonio. Never mind. Definitely a very, very interesting field to work in. So, and then tell me, so what is EDP then? That's the vision of energy transition. So what are you in particular doing as a utility, you know, to do this transition?
So you mentioned that we are the fourth largest in the world on wind. We are, you know, probably the first utility that has more distributed generation, so the PV in the rooftops in Europe. And, you know, we didn't start this last year. Right. We started this 20 years.
20 years ago?
20 years ago. So we identified that the world was going on this direction, and by positioning ourselves with the tailwind, we reached to the situation where we are today.
Wow.
So I think that we all need to do these type of things to understand what are the fundamentals of the market and to position ourselves, because if we do so, it's a lot easier to be successful. And EDP next year will be fully coal-free.
Wow.
90% of our energy is without emissions currently.
Okay.
We have committed to the market that by 2030 we'll be fully renewable.
Okay.
And by 2040 we will be carbon neutral.
Wow.
So this is the challenge. And to accommodate this challenge, we are going to invest around 17 billion until 2026, and adding 3 gigas a year of renewable technology.
Awesome, awesome. I understand because you did this, you started this transition 20 years ago. You are ahead of the pack, really, in the utility world. So well done for you. You know, impressive, impressive. Okay, because you know, coming from looking at other utilities, probably they started 5, 10 years ago, even not a lot longer. So you were really a pioneer.
We were a pioneer, yes. and I think that's, you know, making the connection with innovation. So EDP wants to lead the energy transition, and to lead the energy transition is you need to solve the problems of the energy transition, and by solving the problems of energy transition, you are going to release pockets of value that are going to come within this problem. So our role as innovation, and we have a company specific to deal with innovation, and this company has been created in 2007. So for us, innovation was not, you know, a last year thought. It's something that we have been investing.
Which is in itself, you know, very impressive. The fact that you exist, you know, EDP Innovation as a company exists since 2007.
So we have our venture arm since 2008.
Okay.
So again, we have some experience on trying to push innovation within an utility. And for us, it's important to understand what are the problems that need to be solved and how can you, by tapping on creativity, on solutions that there is in the market, you can address these in the company. So the way we do these type of things, we have what we call 3 innovation channels.
Okay.
One is that we develop our own projects in a process that tries to de-risk as fast as possible. So you do not invest 500K on a project without first investing 50K on the project. So it's pretty obvious, but understanding that you need to take out risk from the solution is very important. This is our role, is to manage risk. It's not to take risks, it's to manage risk.
To manage risk.
If a solution does not have a risk, it's an execution problem. It's the business that needs to deal with this problem.
If it does not have risk, if it is not incremental.
If it's not incremental, then it's our role.
It's your role.
So we do this with a typical Shark Tank that we ask money for the next phase and so on, and this is how we do it internally.
Okay.
Then we have what we call the open ecosystem, the innovation ecosystem, where we try to tap solutions that are developed by startups in the world.
Okay.
So we do this through 2 programs, the Free Electrons program and the Starter program. The Free Electrons program is currently in the 8th edition. We run this with other 7 utilities around the world.
Okay.
We have sourced last year 1,084 startups to our program. From these 184, we reduced to 60, from 60 to 29, from 29 to 12 to 15 startups that then we try to do pilots for us. And then after we do the pilots, we are going to do commercial rollouts with those companies. So this is good for the companies because suddenly they have a commercial contract.
Absolutely, yes.
And for us, we incorporate those technologies, those solutions in our own operations.
Absolutely.
So that's the role. And the final element has to do with our VC arm. So by doing projects, by doing this and testing these solutions, we find a lot of very interesting opportunities of investment that we do with our VC arm.
With direct VC investment.
Direct VC investment.
Also, I suppose co-investing with others, etc.
Co-investing with others.
Okay, very well, very well. Okay, fantastic, impressive. All right, well, then can you maybe tell us about any specific project that you feel particularly proud, in that journey that you just described with those 3 areas? Any specific project that you feel particularly happy about?
I think we have one that is pretty visible. So think about you are in the ocean, and then you see an oil platform with a turbine. It's kind of simple, right? But it addresses a problem. You know, offshore technologies could pose an interesting opportunity for the energy transition.
Yes.
The question is, in a lot of areas where you have actually the wind, you don't have the ground for the pile to secure. So why not having a floating platform where you put a very big windmill and start generating electricity? So this kind of strange concept was developed. We actually, our VC arm, actually invested on the technology company.
Okay.
We built actually first a prototype, and then we have 3 turbines with 25 megawatts in Viana do Castelo, north of Portugal, where they are generating power. They have survived 20-meter waves and temps of storms. So it's working. So for us, it positioned EDP not just on onshore technologies, but also on offshore technologies. And if the world and if the market grows on offshore technologies, we already know the business. We are already well positioned.
Well positioned there to do this elsewhere. Fantastic, impressive. Nice, very interesting project. Okay, we're running a little short for time, but I had a couple of extra questions. Maybe a trickier one coming from MIT. I cannot avoid asking this question to Antonio. There was a big announcement about fusion coming from MIT a couple of years ago, and the question is, what do you see? Where do you see fusion, nuclear fusion, not fission, but the announcement about fusion being a commercial happening soon? Where do you see that coming into the picture of renewable energies, etc.? And is this real or not? Finally, because it has been around for.
Finally, I think that's the. It's interesting that we are always talking about fusion technologies or fusion energy.
Yes.
30 years ago. And if you think about it, it was like artificial intelligence. People were talking about artificial intelligence, in the next 10 years, we'll have artificial intelligence. In the next 10 years, and it was always these next 10 years, these next 20 years, that the technology was being pushed, right? That suddenly, oops, we got artificial intelligence, and currently everyone is talking about artificial intelligence, sometimes talking too much about artificial intelligence.
Yes.
And doing less. I think probably fusion could be a technology that will surprise us as fast as artificial intelligence. Now,
maybe,
the interesting thing is on artificial intelligence, it's very fast to deploy, and the level of scale and the level of improvement is kind of easy. Fusion technology, it's not just you need to prove it's viable technically.
Yes.
You need to prove that you can take it commercially.
Commercially, yes.
And to take it commercially, it's going to take more 15 years. So
more time.
So even if everything goes according to plan, we will probably have the technology commercially available by 2050.
Maybe.
So we still need to do a lot of these things
in the next 20, 30 years.
In the next 20, 30 years.
Yes,
and quite frankly, the only thing that we know today is the renewable technology is here. Every year is getting cheaper. Every year it makes more sense. We need to manage the intermittency, which we also have technologies to do this. This year we are poised to install 60 gigawatts of storage technologies. A lot of this year we are going to sell 17 million electric cars, and 17 million electric cars is a battery with 4 wheels. So a lot of these storage capacity can be tapped into the system. So innovation, a lot of times, is not about technology. It's not about invention. It's about
commercialization,
commercialization, full adoption, and so on. And this is an area a very important area for innovation.
For innovation, absolutely. We were discussing before that other cool technologies coming. Not only from MIT, but in the nanotechnology space, for example, for photovoltaics. That in itself could be a very interesting new technology to look at in the process while this energy transition worldwide gets solved.
Think about this. Solar dropped the price 90% in 10 years.
Yes, okay.
90. So it costs a fraction of what it cost 10 years ago. Now, this is not going to continue the next 10 years, but it's going to drop in the next 10 years.
Which is a common misconception, that it is cheaper to do maybe nuclear than solar, and this is actually, we're talking about it before. That's the point.
So that's why, the majority of the new investments are solar and wind.
Then there's a question about the capacity too, but the capacity is building. So that's what you're working on.
The capacity, just have an idea. This year, the world is going to install 2 times more solar than last year.
There you go.
I mean, 100% growth from one year to the other.
Yes.
This is what we are talking about. These are the level of growth of, digital startups. Oops. But this is not digital. This is real investments on the ground with people.
Hard tech problems.
Hard tech, building things.
Solving the world's problems.
Solving the world.
We like that at MIT a lot. So thank you, Antonio. I think we're running out of time. But thank you for being here.
It was a pleasure.
Congratulations to everything you're doing from EDP. Thank you for your efforts and being a pioneer. And thank you for being here. Let's give Antonio a big applause. He deserves it.